What's going on, y'all? Just getting back from Thanksgiving break and had the long weekend, and was actually able to take the H1 out and do a full camp out with it for the first time. And just wanted to talk about some things we figured out while using it, and some plans we got moving forward on a couple things we're going to change. One thing we like about having the one-offs that we get to kind of hang on to for a few weeks at a time, it kind of gives us a chance to live with it and let our brains get going on what we could have done different, and what worked, what might have not worked, that kind of thing. So for one, had a few people comment about 35-inch tires. What kind of spawned this idea for the H1 in the first place was I had a 5x10 frame out back that was built and ready to go. We'd kind of been sitting on it for a little bit, and my dad had an ATV in the shop, and we keep looking at that ATV. This is before hunting season, and we're talking about, man, it'd be cool to have something we could just load that foiler up, go hunting and camping, and have the whole thing in one trailer. And then I had a buddy of mine actually gave us these 35-inch tires, so we had these tires sitting in here, and had 35s on our Jeep, so thought, heck, just run 35s. But that's one thing we'll be changing on the H1 as far as all the future builds. There'll be 31-inch tires. And this is also on a spring over. It's a non-cambered axle, and so it puts it up here pretty high, which it works fine. It's kind of preference, you know how you like it, but I think we'll probably lower it down a little bit on the next ones, put 31-inch tires on it. What's some things you kind of noticed out there?
Well, I love the lights, man. The lights don't really, I don't know if it really came through on camera very well, but the lights were fantastic, man. The lights are like a must-have on this thing, I think.
For sure.
But just the overall use of it, I mean, we were rigged up with this thing in less than 5 minutes, and we're rigged down in less than 5 minutes. The ease of use of this thing is it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Lighting is a must-have.
And, it was below 50 degrees this past weekend, and man, I know I slept in the other tent, but the same tent is on this one, and I mean, you don't get cold in those things. I mean, with a blanket, and I mean,
I didn't even fire the heater up. So.
Pretty surprising how warm you stay in these tents in the wintertime.
One thing, as I mentioned earlier, I already had the 5x10 frame built for another project that I ended up scrapping and going with this idea. So because I had the 5x10 frame, I knew I wanted an 8-foot deck for loading the ATV. I only left us 2 foot for the box up front. And that's one thing we're going to change going forward. By the time the door's all framed in and everything, you end up with just under 20 inches wide inside the door frame. And that's going to limit you as far as all the options on slide-out kitchen systems, things like that, if you want to add those as an accessory. So we decided to go with a 30-inch wide by 30-inch tall steel box going forward, all the way across the front. And that houses the battery system. You'll have a portable solar charging system. We got a switch panel right behind Clint's head here. USB plugs charging your phone. And all these lights are on an individual switch. And then the opposite side will be big enough you can have a slide-out kitchen system, or just use it for open storage, whatever you choose to go with. So.
Yeah, because this model right here, the 20 inches, it's perfect for night shifts. I mean, that's about really all you're going to get in there, like you said, other than building a bigger box with a slide-out kitchen and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, nice chest fits great in there right now, but you can't. By the time you build the slide-out arms and everything else, it was too tight. So that's one thing we realized using it. So we'll go bigger on that for the next H1. The lighting system, like you mentioned, man, I was really happy with how that turned out. We was riding the foiler, came back to camp, had all the lights on, just you could see everything around everything. You weren't tripping over nothing. And in the scenario where you're loading up camp at night or something, if you have to do that for any reason, you can see everything really good. So.
And that light on the front, we left it on all night where you can see your ladder perfect with that front light.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, especially getting down in the middle of the night or something. If you got to use a bathroom or something, you can still see your ladder.
Yep. So really, that's about all we're going to address on the H1 changes. bigger box at the front and the smaller tires.
But this, other than, you know, these 35s are really nice. I mean, I love this whole setup, and especially because like the Jeep's lifted. So behind a lifted truck or a Jeep or something, it's absolutely perfect. Now, if you're in a smaller truck or something like that, you know, yeah, you want it a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But lifted trucks, this is great with the 35 and how high it is. You know, and we built those ramps long, that way you ain't driving your four-wheeler up like a steep incline. You know, it's a gradual step up to it, which is nice.
This thing's so much beefier in person. It's hard, you know, some of the pictures don't really come across, but it's, I mean, what was it, 24 inches to the, 23 inches to the bottom of the frame on this thing.
Got plenty of ground clearance.
Yeah, so it's crazy. But these are just one-off ideas, you know, and we try to sprinkle those in between some custom builds here and there and try new things out. And the original plan we had on these Atlas ones was 3 trailers. This would be the first one, then step up a little bit, and then step up a little bit again. And the more we've thought about it, and then after using this one over the weekend, I think we're both in pretty much agreement that we're just going to do 2 models. We're just going to make the H2 just all out crazy, and just have kind of a more beefed down platform, if you will, and then have the one big enough for side-by-sides. It'll be big enough for a 4-seater side-by-side. We're thinking probably 7x18, maybe 7x20. And the box on that one's going to be the big difference. For the toy hauler, for the side-by-side hauler H2, we're thinking 4 foot wide, 4 foot tall, and then it'll be all the way across the front. And it'll have a whole slide-out kitchen system in it, a ton of storage for your helmets, your riding gear, cooking utensils, all your lawn chairs, camping equipment, and the same setup as far as the rack. It'll have all the lighting around it.
Yeah, you're gonna have 4 foot wide or 4 foot high. I mean, 4 foot tall. I mean, you're and 7 foot wide. So you're gonna have plenty of storage in that box.
A lot of storage on that one.
And still be able to fit your at least a 4-seater side-by-side.
Yeah, that should leave you, you know, if we go 20 feet, you'll have 16 feet of open deck behind the box. So you can put, you know, a couple 4-wheelers or a bigger side-by-side or what have you.
Still have a rack up top for, you know, the tent and everything, and still be able to have your whole camp ride set up in one go.
And you know, we see a lot of these ideas. We follow a lot of stuff on YouTube and follow the market. And a lot of what I watch personally is Australia. I feel like they're really leading the market. I mean, they're just, some of the stuff they're building over there is crazy. And it's also crazy expensive.
Yeah, like $60,000 you can get one of these.
Yeah, and so we're always trying to think where we can be at and be a little bit more what we would call a reasonable price point. Nothing wrong with their price points. I'm sure they're worth what you're paying, but
we want to stay affordable at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We want to be for everybody, not just people with money. We want to be for everybody.
Yeah.
And with the combo package right here, I mean, I don't think you can beat this setup for the price point we got it at.
And that's the thing, I had some confusion over the weekend. We posted the first video on Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving, Thursday, and you know, I had the red and black scheme on this trailer, and I thought, man, I'll go ahead and add a 4-wheeler to it. So I got the red and black 4-wheeler, brand new to match the trailer. And that's just something we thought we'd offer too, you know, and we're not marking up the 4-wheeler. If you hit me up and say, hey, I want one of these, I want a blue one, you know, what have you, I'll just go price out the 4-wheeler that you're after, and we'll add it to the quote of the trailer. And basically it's just a convenience thing. I'll go get it for you, get it fueled up, load it, be ready to go, you know.
And we can color match the scheme from the 4-wheeler to the trailer, so it'll match, you know, the paint scheme.
Yeah. And the Raptor liner that we use on these boxes comes in, it's like 18 or 20 different colors. So I can go pretty crazy on them if you don't want black. One thing we're going to change is like the big eagle on the door and the Atlas logo. We're going to tone those down and just put a small emblem somewhere on it. They came out a little bit too big, kind of draws your attention away a little bit. So we'll change that. We'll just have a little small Atlas H1, Atlas H2 emblem on here somewhere.
I think the prices or the things that we're going to change on this, there's nothing wrong with this particular model. I mean, we love it. It was so easy to use. I mean, everything about it's great, but we just figured there's a set of little things that we can add or change here to kind of make it better. That's kind of what we're basically getting at. There's nothing wrong with this one, but little things that we can add or change that'll, in the long run, make this setup a lot better.
And our goal is always to get better, man. You know, I've been building these for about 4 years now, full time in the business 2.5 years. So sky's the limit, you know, on how much better we can get. We're always trying to improve. Where our biggest critiques is us, you know, trying to make things a little better. So I think as long as we can do that, and then like stuff like this where we got time to live with it for a minute, you know, a lot of times we don't have time to sit with something to really get a good look over on it, you know, and kind of see what worked and didn't work. So getting to use this one, and then just all the compliments everywhere we've taken it, you know, if we're sitting at a gas station or going through Walmart or whatever, everybody just came up and complimented it and talked about it.
Well, just being up there in the parking lot at Matt's ATV, man, I mean, everybody in that parking lot that was there was going crazy over it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely a future with these. We're just going to try to make them better at the end of the day.
And the rooftop tents, I got a couple that I like personally, but we can put whatever tent you want on there, and I'll build the rack accordingly to the specs of how that tent needs to be mounted. You can add awnings on these things. I mean,
sky's the limit with what you can add on these.
What we try to do, and we also struggle with, is, you know, I've talked about it in previous videos, but when I first started looking around, when I got into this business, a lot of people just had their one model they offered, and it was 20 grand, take it or leave it. That was your only option. And then what they would call customizing is just adding a propane tank or adding an awning to it or something. And to me, that wasn't really custom. That's because it's the same trailer, you're just adding a couple accessories to it.
Right.
And so when we do these one-offs, we try to figure out a stopping point to keep it as a base model, if somebody wants to buy it as a base model, to keep the price down, but also have all that room to add to it based on the customer's choice, not based on our choice. So what I mean by that is I'm not going to deck this thing out with $15,000 worth of accessories out the gate and then tell you that's what you have to get. I'll let it be each customer's option. That's what works for them and what they want to add and what they want to go with.
Yeah, and the whole thing about being custom is, I mean, what you see here is what we built from the ground up. I mean, we built literally everything from the frame to the top of the roof. I mean, it's completely custom from ground up.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get our frames from anywhere. We build everything from here.
Yeah. And that helps on the pricing too, because everything is in-house. We don't, you know, where a lot of markups come from some companies is if they got everything contracted out to so many people, by the time they put it all together, the price is up there. So we try to do as much as we can in-house and, you know, keep stuff reasonable. And I'd be happy to have this trailer, you know. And
yeah, I've been on you about trying to keep this thing, so
yeah,
I think we need to keep it. But at the end of the day,
after we went to a Matt's ATV and Offroad in Tulsa is where we picked this CF Moto 600 up, and having one available to take to some dealers and show them what we're working with and get their brains fired up and get them thinking on maybe we can collaborate on some stuff. So having one around is definitely going to be useful, I think. So we might try to hang on to this first one and keep it as a demo. And then going forward, we can make those changes we talked about with the bigger box and the different tire package. And
yeah, and also the side-by-sides, we could do package deal with side-by-sides.
Yeah.
You know, not just four-wheelers.
Yeah.
So we build our H2 model, we can add the side-by-side with it.
What else we wanted to talk about? Kind of covered all that part. Yeah, speaking of that H2, see, right now we're booked through mid-January on custom orders. If somebody wants to get in line for that first H2 and contact me, let me know what kind of side-by-side you have or what you're going to be hauling. We'll discuss the suspension needs. 3,500 pounds works on some side-by-sides, but we might have to beef that up for some other ones. So if somebody wants to get in line for that first one, I'll give you a really good deal on it, because it helps us get the first one built to show as an example what we can do and what the H2 will look like, and it gets one out there for us. So I think we can do a pretty good discount on the first guy that orders that H2. So yeah, and when we were measuring for that box, you know, we were kind of thinking ice chest. That's just, you know, it's you get in your own head a little bit about what you like, and usually I just personally run ice chest and stuff. And but I know a lot of customers like to run slide out refrigerator systems and all that. So based off that, we're going to widen that out and go to 30 inches wide. You'll be able to add any slide out kitchen system you want.
Yeah, because we've recently come across some really cool slide out kitchen sets, like sink setup and everything. They're really neat.
I got one customer for January's build sent me a cool brand, and we're gonna check that out for his build. We've looked at building some of our own slide out kitchen systems, but for right now, I think there's some pretty cool options on the market. Probably go that route for now. And like I say, the H2 box, it'll be 4 foot wide, 4 foot tall, and then 7 foot across the front. Basically a really big version of that. With a lot of storage, man. And it'll be compartmentalized. We're still kind of designing that out, how we want to divide that up and compartmentalize that box for your riding gear, all the stuff I mentioned earlier.
And the H2 model will also have the up top above the box will still be corralled in for any kind of things you want to add up there, like tires. I mean, you can carry anything you want up there.
Yep.
You can carry your ice chest up there.
Yeah, we did that corral. It's 4 inches above. It goes around the whole thing. Lots of room for extra storage. Throw some totes up there, what have you. And we did the custom fenders. We built these in-house, nice and big. Got your 2 extra 5 gallons of gas.
Which those came in handy with all the riding we did.
All the riding we did, and then the other side actually has a fold-out table, so I might be adding a slide-out kitchen to this. I think we're going to have to do some modifications to make it fit, but so we'll see, man. I don't know. It's probably, I think it's all we want to go over today. All right, man. We appreciate y'all. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. And stay tuned, man. Hit us up.